This is Deborah Atkinson, and you're listening to Flipping 50, where I address your top questions and concerns, and I share what to eat, how to move, and to think to get the energy and the vitality that you need, want, and deserve in this second and better half. And today I'm answering a reader question all about why wait an hour to eat after I exercise. So before I dive in, just a heads up, this episode is brought to you by the Flipping 50 Fitness Specialist, designed for personal trainers and health coaches who work with women who are in perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause, and want to get the most out of life. And if you are already working with a trainer or want to locally, check us out for the directory where we have all the trainers listed who've gone through the certification process, and there may be one available in your area. I'll link to that in the show notes, and let's dive in. So I get asked this question a lot. What? Wait? Because so many of you learned, and I taught probably 10 years ago, that having something almost immediately within 30 minutes after finishing an exercise session was best. In fact, we wanted you to have chocolate milk. And now I shun dairy and I shun soy, both of which have the protein in that was optimal in the ratio of a 1-3 or 1-4 carb to protein ratio, protein to carb ratio. Let me get that right. But now I've actually flipped all of that. So what is really important is the protein, is that you probably stay away from dairy. Definitely that you're testing it. And soy, for most of my clients and students, has proven to increase the number of hot flashes and night sweats that they have. And eliminating it has been extremely helpful in reducing either the frequency or the intensity or both of hot flashes and night sweats. So let's go on and talk specifically about what to eat and when and why. After the age of 50, most adults experience a reduced muscle protein synthesis, or MPS. So that muscle protein synthesis is really a fancy way of saying you can't use protein that you eat to the benefit of your muscles the way you used to. You're not as good at it now as you were, say, 10 years or 20 years ago. Now, if you're one of the active enthusiasts in the Flipping 50 community, you are really athletic, you're active 3, 5, 6 days a week, you are better at it, better at muscle protein synthesis than if you were sedentary. So you're probably better at it than your peers and friends, maybe family members who are not as active. You're definitely better at it than those who are sedentary around you. But even you, athletic you now versus athletic you 10 years ago, are not quite as good at it. So we still are losing it. The good news is strength training helps to offset that natural aging effect, but it works best if you wait an hour after exercise. There's something called a blunting effect of that muscle protein synthesis, and it occurs after intense exercise that's gone about 60 minutes after you eat. So if you can wait 60 minutes, you're going to get better use of protein that you eat then. And it happens optimally between 60 and 120 minutes, or that's 1 to 2 hours. The ideal perfect time is at 90 minutes. After a tougher workout, your body is primed for a high protein meal or smoothie. That's an anti-aging factor right there. So we lose muscle as we age. Strength training helps stave off those muscle losses and helps us get some of it back. And eating adequate protein also helps us prevent muscle loss and or get it back if we're strength training once we time it correctly. So taking in about 30 grams of protein is the recommended amount at each of 2 or 3 meals per day. But studies show that older adults, closer to 70, benefit from even greater protein. Closer to 40 grams in a post-workout smoothie for a 70-year-old will allow him, and the study was done on male subjects, this is why I say that, will allow him to have the similar benefits to a 20-year-old male doing a comparable workout. He just required 40 grams of protein and the 20-year-old required 20. So something to think about. Looking at whether or not you're doing the exercise but not seeing results. Are you timing your post-workout meal adequately and getting enough protein when you do it? Most of the women that I work with initially are making a couple of mistakes. Number one, they're either skipping, they're not timing a meal right after they work out. Maybe you end up doing 2 or 3 hours of errands and then you're out and about and you end up snacking on a bar that's in your purse that is neither the right amount of protein or, the food that you actually want to eat that's fresh, was recently alive and grown by rain and sunshine. So anything in a barcode, probably not as good as something not in a barcode. Just I'll say that. If you have a question, please leave it below the show notes, and you'll find those at flipping50.com/eat after exercise. I'd love to answer your questions, so share that with me too. And if you're not already subscribed, you'll find Flipping 50 in iTunes and on iHeartRadio and almost anywhere you listen to podcasts. I will see you on the flip side. What are you waiting for? Let's start Flipping 50 together.